All right, moving on. Low budget videos. But this floor is actually the original floor. It hasn't been changed for over 2,000 years. So it's kind of a series. You see people walking on. It's a series of perfect circles. They're perfect, just a few cracks on them, and then squares. All right, and so it kind of forms this amazing and beautiful geometric design, perfectly cut. There's my foot. It's all of the measurements are perfect, and everything fits together. So these are the same floors that the ancient people walked upon. Now, we talked about the oculus, this opening at the top. I keep going up to it. And you might wonder, well, what happens when it rains? Well, they thought of that too. In fact, as you walk, there are holes. There's my foot at one of the holes. You can see a hole right here, smack dab in the middle. And the floor kind of slants inward when it rains. And I've actually been in this building when it was raining. No worries. The water will either go down one of these drainage holes. Here's another one right here. And then it kind of slants and it drains down into this central area. So they thought of everything. They thought of everything when they built this temple to the gods. And speaking of the gods, there's kind of a nice view of the entrance and those large doors that were once bronze. When you walked in, most likely you were greeted right here by the Roman god Jupiter. The Greeks knew him as Zeus. Oh, here goes the silence thing again. All right, now what you see here, this is actually, it's a church. That's why they keep telling everybody to be quiet. All right, and so around the building are Christian statues, Christian images. All right, but back then, what you would see instead of these statues, they've been replaced. These were added years later, but in the ancient times, you would have had most likely statues of the different gods. They had a god for everything. They even had a god of manure. That's important, as you know. All right, so that's why it was called a temple of the gods. And you're also going to notice as we kind of pan around that there are pillars holding things up. But it's a freestanding building, you know, it's just the dome. Back to the dome itself. As we go up, it gets thinner and thinner, meaning at the very top, those bricks that I told you were maybe 20 feet deep, forming the walls, they actually get thinner. So right up at the top, at the oculus, they're only about 5 feet deep. And that's one of the reasons that this building is able to maintain its structure. So basically, and I'm certainly not an expert, but everything about it, everything about this engineering was designed so that, well, it could last 2,000 years. I just wonder how many more years it's going to last.